Live from Juba, on air and online.
This is iRadio News.
Hello, good afternoon. This is iRadio News. First, here are the headlines. At least 3 people were killed and another injured during a violent attack in Nyayenga Muda village, Buribuma, Kangabo 2 on the evening of Friday. Authorities in Malut County, Upper Nile State have arrested 14 individuals accused of sabotage and theft at the local oil fields. And the Ministry of Petroleum is planning to increase oil production in South Sudan by strengthening its cooperation with the China National Petroleum Corporation. These stories and more coming to you in this news bulletin with me, Baria Johnson, and now the news in detail. At least 3 people were killed and another injured during a violent attack in Nyayenga Muda village, Buribuma, Kangabu 2 on the evening of Friday. According to the area commissioner, Wani Jackson Mule, suspected armed youth believed to be linked to holdout groups attacked the area around 7 p.m. The victims include 82-year-old Hetman Julius Loki, medical personnel Stanley Wani Philip, and 27-year-old Simaya Lodu James. A 19-year-old named Tunda Bosco was injured with a gunshot wound to the left foot. The assailants remain at large. In response, Commissioner Jackson has announced the deployment of a joint operation force to secure the area and protect residents and their property. He also urged the local community, including leaders, religious figures, civil society organizations, political representatives, and youth to support peace and development initiatives. Authorities in Malut County, Upper Nile State, have arrested 14 individuals accused of sabotage and theft at the local oil fields. The arrests yesterday were made by the Protection Petroleum Police, the force responsible of safeguarding South Sudan's vital oil infrastructure. Malut County Commissioner Manyola Hoj Aguer Malik stated that the theft of transformer oil this month has led to the shutdown of approximately 24 oil production wells. He warned that if such incidents continue for another month, they will result to damage which could severely disrupt production, as the total number of active wells does not exceed 1,000. Ahoj ordered authorities to expedite investigations, complete legal procedures, and forward the case to the courts. He emphasized that the crackdown will not stop with the prosecution of the arrested suspects.
النتيجة بتاعت السرقة بتاعت ترانسفورمر أويل حصل تعطيل في خلال الشهر ده هيزي 24 بير ولو استمر في الشهر الثاني وعطل كم 20 بير والشهر الثاني عطل كم 20 بير وبيعرض كلها كم هذا لا أقل بير أنا بيحصل عملية الشوت داون نتيجة لعملية بتاع المخربين بس عندنا نازل كم الإيجارات بتاعكم جيبهم لقاط ويتم حكم بتاعهم الشغل أنا بجيب في زول قبضنا في خلا من أخوي داخل المدينة أنا بعلن تفتيش في داخل المدينة كلها أي قرية بجاي قريب بجاي ما بيرنا بتقول يحصل تفتيش نحن جد قاعدين خدوم داخل بيوت وأي زول بيشتري زيت الترانسفورمر أنا بلاقيكم مع الناس دي كان لقوه في بيت زول وما شارك في الحتة دي السيد البيت ده يبوظوا ده كلام أصلا ما دي راجع في الموضوع دي القبض يومين أنا بجيب لكم الأمر بتاع التفتيش ده وأنا بجيب لكم جزء من الشرطة هناك في المنطقة يحصل تفتيش عام كان لقوه في أي بيت بجاي أي بيت بجاي ولا بيات البترول بجاي لقوه زول البيت ده يرفعه كان ما رفعه.
Petroleum Protection Officer Major Edward Michael confirmed that legal procedures are being followed. He said the arrested individuals are residents of the area. According to Major Michael, 14 suspects have been arrested so far, with 4 barrels of stolen transformer oil confiscated from their possession.
فهنا السلطات البوليس طلبنا من في المنجة سكشن هيد ليجل افيرز على اساس انه يجونا يشوف الوضع الموجود هنا ده الناس كل يوم قاعدين معنا في مدينة فرق شغالين تخريب في المنشآت وجودنا هنا كمنشآت بنشتغل بطوات وضغوانين كل يوم يجوا تم القبض عليه دبل فحاصات زي موجود امامكم. بعد ذاك يتم اجراءات قانونيه من كل طرف. فالعدد ده بيبقى 14. البراميل 4 مليان زيت بتاع فرنسوم اويل والمهندسين كلها.
The Ministry of Petroleum is planning to increase oil production in South Sudan by strengthening its cooperation with the China National Petroleum Corporation. This is according to Undersecretary Engineer Deng Lual. This comes following a high-level meeting over the weekend between the Ministry of Petroleum and the China National Petroleum Corporation held at the weekend in Beijing, China. The two sides discussed plans to raise production in Blocks 1, 2, and 4 in Unity State, Blocks 3 and 7 in Upper Nile, and Ruang Administrative Area. During the meeting, CNPC pledged to provide resources and technology to help maximize production in these areas in line with South Sudan's development priorities. The Undersecretary Deng Lual spoke to state-run TVSSBC in Beijing, China over the weekend.
The meeting focused on advancing technical cooperation to increase oil production across key fields in South Sudan, in Unity State, Block 1, 2, and 4, and Ruang Administrative Area, and Block 3 and 7 in Upper Nile State. The CNPC team reaffirmed its strong commitment to South Sudan petroleum sector and express readiness to mobilize resource and technology in alignment with our national priorities.
According to the Undersecretary, Engineer Lual, the two parties also agreed to form a technical committee to address bottlenecks and improve operations in the oil sector.
Both sides engaged in constructive discussion focused on identifying viable strategies to enhance oil production from existing fields, improve operational efficiency. Special attention was given to the field rehabilitation, capacity building for our national workforce, and the adoption of environmentally responsible practice. The government of South Sudan remains committed to ensuring that our natural resources contribute to the national development and economic stability.
You are listening to iRadio Afternoon News. The Commission of Ulang County in Upper Nile State says thousands of residents are now returning home following improvements in security and recent food drop operation. Major General Justin Yal says residents are returning to the town to receive food relief airdropped by the government. The development comes 2 months after the South Sudan People's Defense Forces took control of Ulang town from the White Army militia following deadly clashes. General Nial further said the area has seen food airdrops for the last 2 days. He spoke to iRadio this morning from Ulang town.
Now I am touring the Ulang County, the Ulang town. The security situation is normal, no any threat. And then a big influx of the population, they came to get their ration here because there is a food drop here. Now it took 2 days to drop the food. A lot of people are in Ulang town now, which is wanting their ration, emergency food. The situation is normal. People come from the side of the river, Eastern Bank, and then also the Western Bank.
On the Day of the African Child, many South Sudanese are urging the government to take more action to protect street children and bring stability in the country for children to access education nationwide. The call came amid growing concerns about the rising number of children living on the streets and the ongoing challenges posed by insecurity and displacement across the country. African Child Day, which was founded in 1991 by the Assembly of the Heads of State and Government of the Organization of the African Union in memory of the 16th June 1976 student uprising in Soweto, South Africa. At that time, students marched protesting the poor quality education they received, demanding to be taught in their languages. During the protest, hundreds of school children were killed. The Day of the African Child is celebrated to commemorate these children and the brave action they took to defend their rights. Reacting on the day, Jada David, a resident of Juba, expressed deep concern over the growing number of children living on the streets, especially in Juba. According to him, there is urgent need for the government to establish shelters to provide safe accommodation for street children. Jada made the remarks on iRadio's Don't Show this morning.
وبعدين حاليا في جوبا الأطفال كلهم مشردين في الشوارع. There is no good care for them and there is no center, and that's why we are urging the government to establish a center to put all those children there and take care of them as we are celebrating the African child today. And we are also urging the church, church also they're supposed to contribute into building the future of those children who are still working on the streets,
David Magog, a resident of Wau, emphasized that lasting peace is essential for children across South Sudan to fully enjoy and exercise their rights as outlined in South Sudan's constitution.
In the constitution, it says that there is what is so-called right to life of the people in the country. After there is right to life, this is where we will come and talk about child rights. Because when the people are running away now from their houses, to IDP camp, to refugee camp, or whatever, then the children will not no longer get right here. If people don't know even what to eat and what to do, there is insecurity, there is food insecurity and so forth, then the children by themselves will not even get right. Because the children get right when their fathers are working well, they have everything. This is where they will give right of the child to education, to shelter, to security, to treatment, to section, and whatever. Everything that the parents can do, take care of their children, it is when there is no problem in the country. So when the children of Africa, especially in South Sudan, the time they are getting to have right to everything, it is when there is peace in the country. When the leadership structure is being shaped up very well and will be a government for the people, not power-sharing government. This is where the children now will get right to education.
Meanwhile, Franco Sebi, the resident of Juba, highlighted the severe impact of insecurity in various parts of South Sudan, noting that displacement and lack of schools continue to hinder children's access to education. He said without peace and stability, children across the country cannot fully enjoy their right to education, leaving many vulnerable and deprived of learning opportunities.
وما جاهز عدد الله لأنه إذا لاحظت الأطفال المشاهدين في الشوارع والأحداث في مناطق جنوب السودان كل يوم بعد يوم بخلي الناس في الأطفال وفي لحد الليلة ما في تعليم ما في مدارس لأن الأطفال ذاتهم بقوا محيرين ذات حياة شنو في أنفسهم أنا بظن يبقى الدولة الحكومة المفروض تنبه هو تحقيق السلام. الحكومة إذا أبدا عايز إنه الأطفال اللي يكونوا أطفال المستقبل يمكن يستغلهم كويس المفروض الدولة يحاول قدر الإمكان يطبق السلام اللي حصل واقع عشان يكون في استقرار ويكون في تعليم.
And finally, police in northern Bahr el Ghazal are investigating a 15-year-old boy who allegedly set fire to a Seventh-day Adventist church in Warawar, Awil East County over the weekend. According to Captain Godgod Akol, the state police spokesperson, the incident occurred on Friday night. The state police spokesperson said the suspect, whose name is being withheld for security reasons, was apprehended at around 11 p.m., roughly an hour after the church was set ablaze. Captain God confirmed that the suspect is currently under investigation as authorities work to establish the motive behind the incident. Captain Akol said he will continue to update the public as more information becomes available.
It is true that Seventh-day Adventist Church was at a blast yesterday at around 10 p.m. On 13th June at Warawar. This church is based in Warawar and it was set ablaze by a minor who is 15 years old, and I will withhold his name for security reasons. We managed to apprehend him yesterday at around 11 p.m. and to know the motive behind of why he set the church ablaze. He is under investigation and you will be kept updated when the facts are established.
You are listening to iRadio News, and now to the regional and international news with Emmanuel Joseph Akile.
After days of uncertainty and negotiations, the funeral arrangements for Zambia's former president have been finalized. Edgar Lungu, who led Zambia from 2015 to 2021, died 11 days ago in South Africa, where he was receiving treatment for an undisclosed illness. According to his family, he had left instructions that his political rival and current president, Hakainde Hichilema, should not come anywhere near his body. But a spokesperson for the Lungu family confirmed that an agreement had been reached with the government that allowed for Hichilema to preside over a state funeral next Sunday. Elsewhere, Israel says it has full aerial operational control over the Iranian capital Tehran 4 days after launching strikes on the country. It says its air force carried out a wave of strikes overnight, while Iranian media reports new attacks in the west of the country on Monday. Iran hit Israel with a wave of missiles overnight, with some penetrating the Iran Dome defense system. The number killed in Israel since last Friday has risen to 24. And finally, leaders of some of the world's wealthiest countries have descended on a luxury mountain lodge in Canada's Rockies for this year's G7 summit. The elite gathering comes as Western allies face numerous crises, from conflicts on 3 continents to global economic instability. Canada chairs the G7 this year and will host leaders of Italy, US, France, Germany, UK and Japan in Alberta. It has promised a set of streamlined priorities focused around the global economy and security. That's all from the regional and international scene.
Thank you, Akile. And now to the sports news with Lasuba Memo.
In the world of sports, Uganda's women's national football team delivered a dominant performance on Sunday, defeating South Sudan 5-0 in their second match of the ongoing Sekafa Women's Championship. The result marked South Sudan's second consecutive loss in the tournament following their 4-0 defeat to host nation Tanzania on Friday. Uganda controlled the game from the opening whistle, showcasing superior pace, tactical discipline and clinical finishing. The win strengthens Uganda's position in the group standings, while South Sudan's starlets continue to search for their first goal and point in the competition. South Sudan will now regroup as they prepare for 2 crucial fixtures against Kenya and Burundi, where they will hope to revive their campaign and restore confidence in their young squad. Newly crowned European champions Paris Saint-Germain cruised past Atletico Madrid for a winning start to their first ever FIFA Club World Cup campaign. The French side dominated the early stages in searing heat in front of an 80,619 strong crowd at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, enjoying 82.6% possession in the first 15 minutes. They led when Fabian Ruiz rifled a low strike into the bottom corner from the edge of the penalty area. Finally, Bundesliga champions Bayern Munich hit double figures against Auckland City in Cincinnati to record the biggest win in the history of the Club World Cup. Vincent Kompany's side outclassed the New Zealand part-timers, with Jamal Musiala scoring a hat-trick and Thomas Muller grabbing 2 goals as his long farewell to the club continued. Bayern took the lead through Kingsley Coman's 6-minute header as the floodgate opened early. That's all in the world of sports. Back to you, Baria Johnson.
This is iRadio News, and to end this bulletin, here are the headlines once again. At least 3 people were killed and another injured during a violent attack in Ayenga Muda village, Buribuma, Kangabu 2 on the evening of Friday. Authorities in Malut County, Upper Nile State have arrested 14 individuals accused of sabotage and theft at the local oil fields. And the Ministry of Petroleum is planning to increase oil production in South Sudan by strengthening its cooperation with the China National Petroleum Corporation. That's the end of iRadio News. If there is a story or an event you would like iRadio to cover or report about, please send us a text message on +211 925 287 It's also our WhatsApp number. Follow us on X at iRadio Juba, like our Facebook page, iRadio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at iRadio South Sudan. You can also visit our website and listen to us online at www.iradio.org. Stay tuned for the news in Arabic at 1:30. I am Baria Johnson. Thanks for listening.